And yet this is the home of Wall Street. All these banks, all these people, are they not chomping at the bit to come into New York? Is there going to be some pressure to get rid of that fucking thing?
We're trying. We're trying our best. Go ahead.
I think that and this is something that I've heard for a long time is, like Bitcoin is incredibly exciting, and it's the most interesting thing in the investment world. And I can't think of anything more interesting, just finance generally, to work on. However, it's still really small. So I think that, like blowout trading earnings at Wall Street banks recently. I mean, these companies basically have near monopolies and to print money in these scalable businesses, like the credit trading business at Morgan Stanley's, the equity underwriting, these are just huge businesses. As sort of mentioned before, it's like $2 trillion of Bitcoin, 20 trillion of gold. Which, when was the last time you heard Wall Street get excited about gold? And then maybe 40 trillion a piece of equities and fixed income, with a lot of fees and trading revenue. So I think number one, it's really small. In any of these Wall Street places, or run a product at Unchained, and I wake up and think about how can I keep my clients happy? If you're the CEO of Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs or Barclays or any of these banks, if you think about your top 10 clients, I don't think that they're beating down your door saying you got to offer this thing because I got long a ton of Bitcoin in 2014 and I need to borrow against it. But there's this sort of rabble-rousing crowd of a non-S&P yet company like MicroStrategy, and all these treasury companies and SPACs that they could be interesting. But I think in maybe this cycle we get some of the long-awaited IPOs in the crypto market that have been kind of bubbling out there for a while, and then you've got a wealth management prospect, you've got underwriting prospect, and maybe there's some deals to do. But I think that the scale, and I think the client type is just not as interesting as us. Is not compelling for them. But it means there's a great opportunity for these scrappy companies to serve their clients.
There's a couple of things with the bit license. The companies that have bit licenses quite like them because it becomes a regulatory moat. We're still too small. I completely agree with that. And the history of the bit license from the NYDFS is deeply political. Ben Lawsky kicked this off, and he was gone before it enacted. I think that he resigned as the chair or the commissioner of the NYDFS only a couple of days before it actually went into effect. So at the moment, it's going to take a political maverick. As at governor, it's the governor of the state of New York who has oversight of the NYDFS, or the next commissioner of the NYDFS, to get this done. But the companies that have it are in a good enough spot, and the big companies also have alternatives. It's public companies and mining companies and all of these other ones. They don't really care about it so much. So with the political angle, I will say, I think that Bitcoin and broader crypto really did scare the shit out of politicians, last, October, November. So I think that cohort should get really loud. And, we're keeping a really close eye. The mayor doesn't really matter in this. It's the governor. So, PubKey really hopes to host whoever's in the mix for the next gubernatorial election for New York State to really sort of bang the drum here. Thank you. No promises, but we're trying.